Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's garden video. I'm jumping right into a project that I did this week, and you can see there is a buried plastic barrier around the roots of my raspberry bushes that actually stick out a little bit into the walkway. And as silly as that is, because it only sticks out like 3 or 4 inches, I actually took the time to dig a new trench, cut the plastic, and like move it in closer to the T-post and kind of in line with the row. I took the time to do that because that row was actually a very narrow walkway, and when the raspberries end up growing up, it kind of crowds it out and it gets very difficult to access them. So as silly as it was, I spent some time, you see me here digging the dirt, digging a trench. I dug down, I think it's a 6 or 8 inch plastic barrier that's preventing the roots from growing outside of that area. And anyway, dug down, cut through the plastic, and I was originally going to pull the whole plastic piece out and kind of rewrap it tighter around the whole area. But that was going to prove way too difficult. This plastic barrier is buried in there deep. This was incredibly, for as simple of a project as this is, it was incredibly difficult to do. So I just kind of sort of cut my losses and just made that little corner tighter. And so you can see here at the end, again, not a huge difference, but it kind of wraps more tightly right around that T-post. And I think that'll make a huge difference once these raspberries fill out. Even though it goes a little wonky further down the row, I think it'll make a big difference. So I'm happy with the outcome. But looking at what's happening in the garden, this is the garlic. It continues to come up and look good. I'm excited about that because I did a ton of garlic here. Again, my beets, I've shown these before. I'm trying to overwinter these to have these produce seeds for seed beets. These are my onions that I threw in the ground that were kind of sprouting in the garage, and the crows keep pulling them out. It's hysterical, but we'll see if they survive. And I didn't show this last week, but here's the rest of my garden. I do have a bunch of broccoli in the ground, and I'm actually harvesting little tiny broccoli heads out of it. In the back, they're a bit blurry, but there are some lettuces hanging on. There is one kale bush, and this is my new strawberry patch. For those of you who've been watching me for a while, you saw me dig out a bunch of strawberries from my old patch and put them in here as a new patch. An update on the lettuce that I planted from seed a couple weeks ago. They're starting to sprout, and I'm not doing anything. I'm actually leaving them in the greenhouse. There's no heat in my greenhouse. This is just, ambient temperatures, but there is enough warmth that they are starting to germinate, which makes me pretty excited. And I did also talk about this before, but I have pretty much all of my components ready to go to put in my irrigation. I'm going to end up cutting up this hose and doing drip hose and stuff, and I'm going to irrigate all of my beds, so you guys will see that in the next couple weeks. But I thought I'd just leave you with something I thought was really funny. We were feeding our animals some cedar branches because they enjoyed munching on them. And then we looked over and noticed the pigs, and they were treating them a little bit differently. Hope you guys enjoy.